All right. All right. Shalom, shalom. Kahalayim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity of heart. Shalom. This is the brother, your brother Batak, back again through the Spirit with another lesson. And Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. The title of this lesson is going to be Techno Totalitarianism. I'm sorry. Um, Techno Totalitarianism. And this was inspired by, a video that went up recently. I'm gonna go to it real quick. I watched it last night. Here it is. This video is inspired by Apostle Ramlah's video. It's right in front of your face. When it comes to the MOTB and the system that Esau wants to set up and the plans that the elites have, which we already know, according to prophecy, they want everybody chipped. They want to put that digital all or that digital system into play, which is going to be controlled and governed by artificial intelligence, which you see this whole system coming into play. AI is starting to take over, and they're going to use this system to gain more control over the masses of people, and it's called techno or digital totalitarianism, which he says techno totalitarianism refers to the use of technology by a government to exert total control over its citizens, and that's what you see in the system that China has. It's a techno totalitarianism type of system. And forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, with that word wrong, um, but you get the point, man. All right, so China has a digital or techno totalitarianism type of system um, that runs off a social credit score, and um, if you um, technology rules everything, and it has control and dominion over everything, and the government controls the technology that governs over the people. So this is the type of system that Esau wants. He wants full control, total control over everything, man. And this is a very oppressive system, especially for those that teach the Bible or adverse to this society and the wicked deeds that go on. If this society, if this system was into play right now, the prophets will have a bad social credit score because we the prophets speak against this place, man. So let's continue to read on. It says, techno totalitarianism refers to the use of technology by a government to exert total control over its citizens, often through mass surveillance. What, you got cameras everywhere? You got cameras every fucking where, especially all throughout America. You got cameras everywhere because they want this system to be in full effect. They want this system in place. Censorship, see, if you putting up some type of content that the government doesn't like, they can shut you down. You know, they can censor you. You're not able to do this. You're not able to get on the internet. You're not able to travel. And that's the thing in China. If you have a bad social credit score, you're not able to use public transportation. You're not able to do a lot of things that people that have a so-called good credit score, social credit score. It's a real oppressive system. So you can be censored, you can be shut down and stopped, or basically controlled from doing all of the things that the internet or the government offers. Public assistance, not be able to get, you can't get a loan, you can't leave the country. You know, that's how much control this new system is going to have that Esau wants. It says in manipulation of information, which Esau already does that. He controls all of the major news outlets that manipulate information, and also he does that via the internet. It says it combines elements of traditional totalitarianism with the tools of information technology to achieve a high degree of control. A high degree of control. And the MOTB, the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip is going to be the ultimate example of total control. So we're warning our people about this new system that Esau wants to roll in, and he's rolling it in gradually. You know, he's not just um, bringing it in with full force. He's gradually stepping towards this system. He's getting the infrastructure into place, the 15-minute cities into place. Okay, the key characteristics of techno totalitarianism is mass surveillance, extensive use of surveillance technologies, including biometrics. What biometrics? Like facial recognition, cameras, and data collection to monitor citizens' activities. See, this is the system that he wants. This is the type of control that he wants over the masses of people. And they already have biometric technology available, ready and available here in Babylon, aka America. They have facial recognition technology, you know, cameras everywhere that catches, you got CCTV footage of crimes going on. Esau is able to catch these different criminals doing these criminal acts, whether it be murders and stealing, and all of these things are being caught on surveillance because Esau has cameras everywhere. You know, facial recognition technology and it's even getting more advanced to the fact that even if you wear a mask or something covering your face, they still can identify you through their facial recognition technology. And I believe that article came out about that, which I believe it was in China where that was actually facial recognition technology that is able to see your face even if you're wearing a mask on, man. You know, because Esau wants total control. You're not gonna be able to do anything without this devil, man. That's why the scripture says if you're not gonna be able to buy or sell because Esau is gonna have control over everything. It says censorship and information control. It says restrict. I'm gonna get some scriptures, milk scriptures concerning this situation, which is going to happen here in America, aka Babylon the Great, because they're already putting the infrastructure into place, and they've been doing it for years. Even especially from the time of COVID, they've been moving things a lot faster. It says restricting access to information, controlling the flow of news and media, and using censorship to suppress dissent. See, if they don't like you, they're gonna censor you. If you're speaking something against their narrative, so they're not able to control the narrative or convince the masses of people what they want the masses of people to think, they're gonna censor you. You know, you're gonna be ostracized. You're not gonna be able to do anything because they're gonna shut you down and make you an outcast to the society if you don't follow it or play by the rules, man. And they're already doing that now. They can censor you if they want to, you know. All right, disinformation campaigns. It says employing disinformation and propaganda to manipulate public opinion and undermine trust in institutions. And we already know what Esau does with his propaganda machine, which is by way of the internet, mostly these news outlets and all the propaganda that these devils pushed out. A key example of that was during the Ukraine conflict, all the propaganda that they pushed, getting the people to support the wicked acts that they was doing to, over there in Ukraine. Um, digital social credit systems. Ooh, there we go. It says using algorithms to access individuals' behaviors and assign social scores, potentially impacting access to services or opportunities. So if you have a bad social credit score, you're not gonna be you're not gonna have you're not gonna have access to a lot of things. You're not gonna be able to might not be able to get a so-called government job, or you know just giving you examples of um, how a bad social credit score would affect you. You're not going to be able to do a lot of things. You're going to be restricted because your social credit score is going to be bad. That's, just using that as an example. So using algorithms to access individuals' behavior and assign social credit score. So how you act basically reflects your social credit score, potentially impacting access to services or opportunities. See? Algorithm-based control. Utilizing algorithms to make decisions that affect citizens' lives, such as policing, job placement, or healthcare. See? That's total control. Total control, man. You're not. That's why Klaus Schwab said you will own nothing and be happy, because this is the future that these devils want to establish. And we're gonna get some scriptures. Um, Salakia. Real quick, Psalms chapter 17, verse 13. It says, "Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him." Who is that? Him, the wicked, Esau, Edom, according to the Bible. The Bible identifies the Edomites as the wicked. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So we want the Lord to deliver us out of the hands of our enemies, because we see um, that these devils have wicked devices and wicked plans that they want to bring to pass. Um, and we know it's going to be a system of oppression that is going to force our people to either obey the system or die. It's going to get very draconian, man. You know? Psalms chapter 10, verse 1, it says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Yahweh? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble?" Because the time of trouble, the time of testing is upon us. And Esau is going to test the whole world with this chip, the RFID microchip, which is going to be made mandatory under the penalties of death. He's going to try the whole world. It's going to be a time of trouble, a time of testing, especially for those that call and believe in the names of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, man. Verse 2, "The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor." And this system is all about persecution, man. Affliction. That's what it's going to cause to those, because it's making everybody bend to their system, man. It says, "Let them be taken in devices which they have imagined." See, the Lord is going to cause Esau's plans to be ultimately, he's not going to be able to fulfill his plans. The Lord is going to disappoint him. Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, you know? Don't allow him to accomplish this. It says, "For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire." See, the heart goes back to the Hebrew word lav, which is his mind. These devils have a lot of plans. The main goal is to bring this MOTB system into place. So he's boasting of his heart's desire, what he wants to do. He desires to chip you. He desires to chip everyone and put this system, this total this techno totalitarianism type of system into place, which is going to be heavily controlled by artificial intelligence. AI is taking jobs. AI is taking, over everything, because this is the system that he wants. This is his heart's desire. You will have a universal based income. You're not going to be able to work. Everything will be owned by this government. Yeah, every move will be watched. You will be chipped. They show you in the movies, man. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. "The wicked through the pride of his countenance, would not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts." And this was Esau. He don't believe in God, man. At the end of the day, he say he is God, man. Like the scripture says in Ezekiel, the prince of Tyrus has said, "I am a God." These devils really want to be God on the left hand side using this artificial intelligence type of system, that RFID microchip. That's how they want to play God, man. Because what? They're gonna be able to see everything, control everything. They're gonna have a God complex. And he's doing it on the left hand side through his system. Verse 5, it says his ways are always grievous. See? Grievous. His ways are always um, oppressive. Look up the word grievous. Grievous, which it says heavy, hard, weighty, hard, difficult, toilsome. See? The ways of Esau have always been grievous, man. He already has unrighteous decrees that are oppressing the minds of the people now, but things are only going to get worse and more draconian, man. Draconian means what? Let's go to it. Draconian. It says of or pertaining to Draco, the ancient Greek statesman, 1777, blah blah blah, rigorous or extremely severe or harsh. All right. It says the name of an archon of Athens who laid down a code of laws for Athens, century 621 BCE, that mandated death as punishment for minor crimes. See, things are gonna get a lot more draconian. If you don't take the chip, off with your head. You don't obey the system, off with your head. You don't want to follow the system, off with your head, man. Everybody that opposes are going to be killed. Psalms chapter 10, and that's how they're going to get the people to fold. Fear. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4 in the NLT says, the wicked are too proud to seek God. They seem to think that God is dead, yet they succeed in everything they do. They do not see your punishment awaiting. See your punishment awaiting them. They sneer at all their enemies. See, they don't see that the Heavenly Father is going to punish them, man. Which that punishment is coming. You know, that's why the America's being drawn into the Third World War. That's why these proxy wars are happening right now, because America's going to be pulled into this next world's war, which is going to be fought with fire. Putin has made it very clear that at any point he can launch those missiles, man. And it's not Putin. It's the spirit of the Lord that's putting that in him. Psalms chapter 21, Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. As rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So who's putting it in Putin's heart to think about, to update his nuclear doctrine? You know, to continue to build these missiles and let the West know that they ain't scared to use the nuclear missiles. The Lord is putting it in his heart. You know, so Yahweh is controlling the hearts of men. And we're seeing Esau bringing this system into place because it's all Bible prophecy. You know, let's go back to Google. It says the control of technology, restricting or controlling the development and use of technologies that could challenge the government's power. See, they're gonna have total control, man. They already have control of it, of everything. Oh, it says examples and concerns. It says China. Some analysts argue that China is an example of a totalitarian regime using advanced technology for surveillance, censorship, and social control. See, China is an example of the system that they want to bring to America. And um, people like Klaus Schwab idolize China because that's what they want to bring to America. That's what they want to bring over the whole world. It says concerns about privacy and freedom. Techno Totalitarianism raises concerns about the erosion of privacy, the restriction of freedom or expression, and the potential for abuse of power. See, there's gonna be a abuse of power, man. Esau always abuses power. Influence on democracy. Some argue that the tools of techno totalitarianism are being adopted by governments with authoritarian tendencies, even in democratic countries, potentially undermining democratic norms and values because democracy is going to be out of the fucking window, man. They already give you the illusion. They give you the illusion that you control things, but you really don't, man. You know, a democracy is supposed to be a government that's controlled or dictated by the people, but it's not so. You know, they have people in power that are puppets that really, the elites behind the scenes really calling all of the shots, man. They control everything. The people don't even control who gets elected. They give you the illusion that you do, but you don't. You don't control anything. They control it. And it's going to get a lot more clear once they establish this new system that they want to roll out. It says, going on, it says techno authoritarianism, also known as IT-backed authoritarianism, digital authoritarianism, or digital dictatorship. Ooh, refers to the state use of information technology in order to control or manipulate both foreign and domestic populations. See? So this is going to come by way of the chip. Hold on, wait. I seen something. Is China still totalitarianism? Totalitarian. It says the government of the People's Republic of China, guided by a totalitarian ideology under the absolute rule of the Chinese Communist Party, deprives citizens of their rights on a sweeping scale and systematically curtails freedoms as a way to retain power. See? This is what they want to bring, man. Authoritarian, autocratic, I'm sorry, autocratic governments are classified as totalitarian when they engage in direct control of citizens' lives, or as authoritarian when they do not. Totalitarian governments do not allow political or cultural pluralism. See, no, it's North Korea. All right, it says, is North Korea still totalitarian? Totalitarian. It says North Korea functions as a highly centralized, one-party totalitarian dictatorship. According to its constitution, it is a communist state that self-describes as a revolutionary and socialist state guided in its building and activities only by great. I'm not even going to try to say that. So you have many different examples of totalitarian governments in the world, and America's not so. But they want this type of government in America, you know. So let's go get Revelations, and we're gonna close it out. I just wanted to read this real quick, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Revelation chapter 13. We'll start at verse. I'm gonna start at 16. Get straight to the point. Revelation 16 and 13 and 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which is that RFID microchip. When you go to that word mark, the Greek word is charagma, which means an imprinted mark, that which is going to be something that's going to go inside of your flesh or go onto in your body, man. Imprinted, you know. Let's go to the Greek. So that chip is the mark. You have already people in this world that have been microchipped. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. What is it going to imprint into your flesh? You know, the mark branded upon horses, because what? It's a physical thing. You even had, you know, back in the Roman Empire, you had some soldiers, they got branded. They're branded with the name of their masters, man, or their generals, if you will. It says a thing carved. What carved? What? Because it's a fleshly thing. It's gonna go inside of your flesh to graving, sculpture. It says a scratch or itching, which a scratching into what? Into your flesh as a badge of servitude. Yep, a stamp as a badge of servitude, because those that are follow or worship the beast are gonna serve the beast. They're gonna serve it by taking the chip. They're gonna serve it by obeying, bowing down to this system, and taking his device. It says a stamp and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or right hand of the badge of the followers of the anti-Messiah, which what? There are many anti-Messiahs. That's not just one, like the scriptures tell you. A mark branded upon horses. When you go to the Karaks, it means a pale or a stake, a palisade. This is the delivery system for the chip. It says to sharpen to a point akin to the root grapho, to sharpen to a point, because what? That's how they're gonna get the inside of your flesh. It's a delivery. It's like a needle, if you will. To inject, it's gonna inject it into your flesh. That chip. Oh, here we go. There we go. Here it is. This is what the palisade is. See? That's what the pale or stake is. You see the sharp end on it? Because it's gonna use that to put it inside of your body, inside of your flesh. That's how it's gonna be delivered inside of your flesh, man. See? This is what they're gonna use. It's not by coincidence, man. The scriptures detail it very properly. It says to sharpen to a point. Doesn't that thing look pointy? Isn't this pointy at the end of it? Isn't that pointy? Because it's gonna go inside of your flesh. It says a stake through the idea of scratching. A stake. Now let's go to the root word, which is grapho, which is to write with reference to the form of the letters. Uh, I'm gonna go to this one right here. It says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, written, write down, record. Because what is gonna be on the chips? All of your information, your passports, your healthcare information. All of these things are gonna be on side or in the chip. Your criminal history, your license, your ID, and uh, your medical records. All of these things are gonna be inside of that chip, man. You know, So this is what Esau wants to bring to pass. So let's go back. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. The forehead version of this is what they got brain chips, or like Neuralink, that you got Elon Musk working on Neuralink, when they want to put chips inside of your brain chips. Verse 17 says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. See? So those that don't have the chip are going to be ostracized from society. Here is wisdom. You're going to be ultimately put to death, though. Here is the wisdom. Let him that understandeth the count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And his number is 600, 6, which is 666. And you see 666, 666 on every barcode here in Babylon the Great, aka America, which that's called the Universal Product Code, which was designed by George Lear Joseph. See, this is in every barcode in America. The universal product code and 666 is in every last one of them because that's Esau's number, man. That's how you know who you're dealing with. See, this is the guy that created the universal product code. He worked for International Business Machines. And let me tell you this, his name has all of his names, his first name, his middle name, and his last name all have six letters. George has 6 letters, Lair has 6 letters, and Joseph has 6 letters. This is the guy that was responsible for creating the universal product code, and it just created for a purpose, man. Ah, come on. Let's go back. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 66. Now, when you look up the Greek for 666, you go to the Greek chi psi stigma, chi psi stigma.
Strong's G 5516. Chi Psi Stigma. Chi Psi Stigma.
So when you look up the word stigma, here it is right here. Stigma. It means to prick, to stick, to prick into what? Into your flesh, into your body. It says a mark pricked in or cut, pricked in or branded upon the body to ancient oriental uses. Slaves and soldiers bore the name of the or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to, and they were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their god. See, even slaves were branded so you can know who that slave belonged to. This is nothing but a digital form of slavery, a digital stamp, a digital um, mark, which is going to be inside of your body. You know, that's what Esau wants. And the only scripture that has the word stigma in the Greek is Galatians 6:17 says, "From henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body," which means in his body, his fleshly body, in his skin, the marks of the Lord Yahweh Shah, because he was beaten many times. Oh, I'm gonna read this Strong's. It says, according to the ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name of the or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies, cut into their bodies. See, that right there shows you it's a what? It's a fleshly thing. It's something to do with your body. That's why they got biometrics. Bio, body, metric, measure, body measure, measure body. It says the marks of the Lord Yahushua, which Paul in Galatians 6:17 says he bears branded on his body, are the traces left there by the perils, hardships, imprisonment, scourges, which means whippings, endured by him for the cause of Hamashiach, and which mark him as Hamashiach's faithful and approved voluntary servant, soldier. See, because he actually was scourged. He was whipped. Now, if you get whipped, you have scars. Scars where? On your body. So it's a fleshly thing. They try to sell you that it's spiritual. No, it's fleshly. So I'm gonna read the judgment for those that take the chip, and we're gonna close it out. Revelations 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast, that means you bow down to his system, take his chip, obeying and following the rules of Esau and his draconian measures." It says, "And receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand." It don't matter where. It could be your left hand, right hand, forehead. Don't matter. If you receive it, you're condemned. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. That means the nuclear destruction. You're going to be bombed. You're going to be here on the soils of America, and when those nukes drop, you're going to be burnt the fuck up. It says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. See? So those that take the chip are going to die via the thermonuclear missiles, man, the thermonuclear bombs. They're gonna destroy America and turn this place into a lake of fire. That's what the lake of fire is. America being bombed to oblivion and everything being on fire. 5,000 square miles being on fire all at once, man. It's gonna be a lake of fire. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. This is the digital totalitarianism type of society Esau wants to bring, and it's going to be controlled by artificial intelligence through that micro C hip, man, which Esau has total control of, man. So with that, Lord willing, that's edifying. I'm gonna close out by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well.